Welcome everyone. In a previous video, I had shown you how you can connect a chat interface with Epic or any EHR using MCP and FHIR. Now, while chat is a great way to interact with healthcare data, you can't really use chat for everything. This is where the concept of Copilot comes in. In this video, I will show you how you can embed actionable forms dynamically into a chat interface to get a complete Copilot experience. I will be using Epic for the demo today, but this can again be done with any EHR. Also, I won't go too much into the details of the integration because I covered that in the previous video. I will leave a link to that video in the comments below. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. I am using a standalone app today, so we can focus on the Copilot. However, note that whatever I'm showing today can be integrated directly into the clinical workflow using EHR Launch and launched directly from the patient chart. Again, I did cover that in the previous video. Okay, so I'm logged into Epic now, and I am going to go ahead and start a new chat session for the patient Jason here. So I'm just going to click here and start the session. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this chat session a source. So what I'm basically doing in here is that I want to make sure that the chatbot is only using my organization guidelines while answering the questions. Behind the scenes, we are using RAG to ground the chatbot to manage hallucinations. So I'm going to go ahead and ask a question in here. Patient is a little disoriented. What are the management guidelines? So what you will see in here is that it looked through the guidelines that we have uploaded and has told me that, I should be doing a news 2 assessment. It's also provided me some links where I can go and actually read through it. But what is really interesting in here is that it has also launched this button or added this button in here from where I can just click and it will actually open the news 2 calculator for me, where I can just go and then calculate the score and kind of determine what the next steps are. But other than just doing the form as we do typical forms, we can also use a little bit of more AI here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go and try to fill this form using voice. Patient is actually on oxygen therapy. He is complaining of pain. The oxygen saturation is at 98, the heart rate is at 82, and the temperature is 99 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so if you noticed in here, what happens was this is not just me filling a form. A lot of those values, irrespective of what the form was originally designed for, it can actually connect with the voice and using AI fill up those fields, right? When I said the pain, I said basically yes. I didn't have to say yes or no. I purposely designed the form to be a true or false, but it can pick it up. But then also the temperature, I said it in Fahrenheit, but it was smart enough to convert it to Celsius. So now I will take it one more step forward and I'm going to try something different and let me see if it works. It doesn't work every time. Actually, I realized patient ko hosh nahi hai. Okay, so what I did there was I actually spoke in Hindi. And I spoke in a way like, basically what I said was the patient was unresponsive. But again, the chatbot is smart enough to even convert that into the correct field and update it. So again, there are many different calculators, forms, other things that can be embedded this way. Let me just show one other example to show something similar. So I'm just going to go this time and I need to edit the patient demographics. So again, what you will see in here is that it gave me the patient demographics, but it has given me a different form, which again I can launch. And now I'm basically doing like a simple demographics form. And the idea here is to show that this can be applied to any form. So I can do something similar like that in here if I go there. The date of birth, actually the year is 1972 and the last name is Smith. Oh, actually wrong. So my bad. The last name was correct. So again, if you notice in here, this is not functionality that is built into the form. I didn't have to do an undo button, but the chat interface is smart enough to interact just like what we are using with any chat context and update those forms. And these are just very simple examples of what can be done. So if I go back to the architecture or how this works that we had discussed a little more in the previous video too. So let me bring up that slide really quick here. What is happening behind the scenes again here is that there is an app that has a chat interface that has some UI rendering and LLM along with LLM embedded. But then it is connecting to these data connectors, which is how I'm getting data from the EHR. It's connecting to a RAG, and then it is connecting to these calculators. But these are not really like different integrations. These are all behind the scenes MCP server. I mean, that's how we are connecting to all of them. So tomorrow, instead of Fire server, if I want to connect to an OpenAir or I want to connect to a Databricks instance or any database for research or registry, I can pretty much just swap the data connector and the rest of it works. So that is really the power of MCP that it brings in, where you can just like plug and play different components and use your EHR as a data source and use any other things and just combine them into any kind of copilots that you want to build. I wanted to give credit to a couple of resources that we have been referring to that really helped as we have been brainstorming and designing, our Copilot. One is this demo and video by Steve Sanderson from Microsoft, where he really showed how you can create forms that are optimized for voice, interactions. Actually, he designed it in a way where any form can be used for that. And that's kind of where the core idea of designing dynamic forms with voice came from. And then there was a recent post by Dr. Graham Walker where he talked about a lot about how you could actually build interfaces where in the EHR you only see what you need. And it wasn't exactly like the Copilot idea, but he had some pretty fascinating ideas that he discussed, and there's been some really great discussions on there. So I wanted to make sure we mention these two resources that are also very close to the idea that we are working with. So as you can see, MCP and Fire are creating some amazing opportunities for healthcare copilots. We are currently looking for partners that are building apps that can be integrated into copilots. We are also looking for pilot participants to try this out. So if you are interested in either, please reach out. Thanks again for watching.